We're hanging out here in Denver. We're getting ready for UFC on Versus, which I don't know if you care about that, but do the fighters care that it's it's on one of the free channels?
I think it's pretty cool that it can be on free TV, and a lot of guys that just don't want to hang out and spend the $60-70 to watch it. They can watch it for free and get hell of fights.
Yeah, it's actually a nice run here. You got a pay-per-view in between two free cards. So you were on a pay-per-view last time. You fought Stefan Struve. So your reaction? I mean, you fought a lot of fights out there, but I'm sure there were some nerves. And what do you think of the fight?
It wasn't the nerves that really bothered me. It was the height. He was 7 foot tall, and that was the biggest problem, was dealing with that height and finding training partners that were that big, and then trying to replicate that in the cage. That was a big difference.
And it was a bizarre fight because you guys laid it all on the line, and then I think there was a point like in the second, third round where you were like. You kind of actually put your hands down and you're like, okay, well, now what are we going to do?
Yeah, and that goes back to my conditioning. I learned a lot from that fight. People ask me, when you lose, do you feel upset? Are you worried about something? No, I take it as I've learned something and had to surround myself with the right people and work on my conditioning. That third round, I should have pushed the pace a little more, and it's not going to happen again.
Yeah. Well, I mean, conditioning at times has been an issue for you, but before the last fight, I mean, you were dealing with a lot of problems with training camp. So, I mean, that was the first thing to get that out of the way, and you came up here. Were you upset that you had to leave San Jose, that you officially had to kind of cut it off with, AKA and Bob Cook?
Well, it's not officially cut off. I still have an open door there. Everything's still great, but I had to surround myself with people that, for this next fight, put myself in a position and do a 360 on my training camp. I'm fighting in Denver, high altitude. I don't want to make that mistake and fight in, sea level position and then try to come up here. So I figured I have to make that move and come up here and surround myself with a good team and train in the high altitude stuff.
So you've been up here like 6-7 weeks, right?
Yes, I've been out here, and nobody knew that. I didn't release that to anybody. So I've been up here for a while. I didn't release it until I was 35 weeks out here. And plus I hired Mike Van Arsdale. Mike Van Arsdale's been around for a long time as my conditioning coach. He's attached to my hip 24/7, staying with me, making sure I'm not eating the wrong thing, I'm not going the wrong places. And it made a big difference hiring him, and he's attached to my hip. I couldn't walk away from a workout.
So when you first got here, could you tell the difference with the altitude?
I could tell a big difference. The first week was really, really heavy. I couldn't move, I couldn't breathe, and you definitely felt the pace, because in MMA it's a sprint long distance kind of pace, and all of a sudden you got explosion, and I just couldn't do it the first week. And that's the thing about this training camp with Mike Van Arsdale, Trevor Whitman. It was all organized. The first week was, let's focus on getting you acclimated, let's focus on this. So the workouts weren't hard. It was just little grab here and a little grab there, a little extra sprint here for the altitude, get used to it. And that was great about this training camp. The first week was, no, you're going to sit down, you're going to relax, do your thing, and get acclimated. And that was really good.
I don't know if a lot of fighters come up beforehand. I know there are some Denver fighters, some Colorado fighters on the card, so they're here already. But, I don't remember last time if it was a big deal for guys to come up to Broomfield to make sure that they were ready to go. And I don't know if Congo's been here. Do you have any idea?
I have no idea. They say he came in a couple of days early, but you definitely need a week. And the thing is, a week before the fight night it's kind of relaxed kind of training. It's kind of explosion but relaxing, like a dragster. You want to warm the engine up, shut it down, warm it up and shut it down. And you don't have a couple of days. You have to be here for a week and then test yourself those next few weeks. How far can you push it?
So back to Bob Cook, because I talked to him, I think it was maybe a month after that card. So where are you guys now? Because he was talking about how he was kind of angry with you and the way the whole agent thing went down. So you still have an open door. I mean, it sucks that that's a long relationship, and not that you can't train there, but right now, there's a little bit of a rift, and you don't want that weighing on your mind. I think it was weighing on your mind last fight.
Oh, it kind of did, especially after it kind of kicked in. But it's funny how being a fighter and being a professional that you try to push everything to the side and not think about it and keep an open head and clear. But after the fight, it really, really bugged me. And then, I can't blame anybody. I can't, because of you, because of that, because of this. It's my fault. It all boils down to my fault. There's times that I was so upset thinking about what was going on at AKA that I didn't go to training, or I didn't push the training camp hard enough, because, when your mind is not 100% there in training, you're not there. And, I can't blame anybody but myself. And that's one thing that I'm always been at is, it's me that didn't show up to the training. It's me that didn't push those training camps. It's my fault. But, me and Bob, we have a great relationship, talk every now and then. And, we're just waiting for things to cool down. On this training camp, on this fight, I had to come to Denver. There's no doubt about it. I had to come to Denver. He even recommended it, go to Denver.
Well, fans and media talk about some of the negatives of UFC, and there are positives. I would say one of the positives, especially for a guy like you who had all that inactivity, is the chance to get back in stay active, get a loss off your mind, and most importantly, as a guy who's got to earn money, you get paychecks.
Exactly, and that's the whole thing. Everybody asks me, you want a title shot? You're going to work back? I said, I just want to win, and I want to fight. That's all I want to do is fight, win, fight, win. That's all that matters. I had a 2-year stint that only fighting once twice in 2 years. That's just not good. I'm not no spring chicken. I'm not getting any younger, and that's one thing that really bugs me about the whole thing is I have to get with a company, a big company like the UFC, and fight. If I do my job well, they'll keep giving me a good job.
So where do you think Congo is now? He seems to me to be a guy who has always been a little up and down with confidence. And boy, his last fight against Frank, and it's Frank Mir, but I mean his last fight against Frank Mir cannot have you feeling good. And yet on the other side of it, you talk to fighters who are like, I don't want to face a guy who's coming off a loss.
I've been in this sport for a long time, and facing a guy that came off a loss or even came off of a win or have a good spin, it doesn't make a difference. You just have to put your time in and try to get into the other guy's head and know that you're ready and let them know you're ready. I think everybody that knows it's going to be fighting Paul Buentello it's going to be a hard fight no matter what. He gets tired in the third. Well, hell, you got 10 rounds to worry about. And I know he's going to come in tough. I feel he's going to come in tough. I'm going to respect him enough that he's going to come in tough. I don't know which Cheick Kongo's going to come in. Either it's going to be the striker or the wrestler. I don't know which one's going to come in, but we're ready for it. And I surrounded myself with the right people to get ready for whatever he brings. And just got to wait and see what he brings. I'm ready. I'm ready for whatever he brings. And if you know me, if you see me fight, I'm going to come 110%.
I'm not gonna. I saw some of the questions about looking ahead. It's like I need to win first. I'm not worried about a title shot. I do think it's interesting though your perspective on where the heavyweight division is now. You got a title shot. How long ago was that now? Was that 2000?
4 years ago.
Yeah. So you're looking at 2006. I mean, the level of athleticism, the talent pool now, not to say that it was lousy back then when you got your title shot, but I mean, it's getting nuts now.
Yeah, back in that time when I got the title shot, it was too fast. All the trainers, Crazy Bob Cook at the time was like, it's not going to work. It's too fast, which I knew it was too fast. And, I was a little bit young to fight mentally in a big show like that and jump right into a title shot. And then you can totally tell by my experience, I went right after him. Didn't think nothing about it, went right after him, too aggressive and got caught.